What's happening, YouTube? We are in the building. It is me, and it's y'all's favorite Nita the Diva, and also Muchella, who hang with the fellas and the Diva today. How you ladies doing?
Hi.
Okay.
Doing great.
Oh, we're all doing great. And ladies and gentlemen, we have come here to try our best to entertain you with a show that has had ebbs and flows. Yes, I am talking about Run the World, Season 1. This will be our Episode 7 recap. But we also got a little bit of other entertainment for you. We're going to review The Tomorrow War starring Chris Pratt. We've all seen it, and we think it's pretty good. A little better than what critics have tried to say it is. It's the #1 movie on Amazon right now.
I liked it.
I liked it too. I thought it was good. It has some concepts in there that I liked. But at the same time, it did have one element in there that was kind of predictable. But that didn't take away from the overall experience of the movie. The overall cinematic experience of the movie was very, very good. And I feel like if Amazon had a movie theater, that would have done well in a movie theater, especially if it was like 3D.
Summer blockbuster.
Yeah, or if that was like 3D IMAX or something, that would have been a great 3D IMAX type of movie.
Yeah,
so we'll review that.
Full of explosions. It was just like so big and bombastic. It was like, entertaining.
Right. It definitely was entertaining. Like I said, they added a twist on one of the time jumping concepts that I thought was very, very well done. And I mean, just to give you guys a little preview of it, hell, I'm a girl dad. So I was about that life, but I'll leave it at that.
That was one of my questions for you too.
Oh,
but
definitely.
When we get to it, I'll ask you it.
Yep. And we got Larry. He said he's having a little bit of technical difficulties, but he'll get in here, and we better get to it before he get in here, because y'all know what happens when my boy Larry get in here. boy. And just for Larry, ladies and gentlemen, we're also going to have a section of the new show that I'm doing called DaFuk. And DaFuk can be all kinds of crazy stuff that happens in the world. We break it down, re-review it, and if we can find humor in it, we go for it. All right, ladies, let me give you guys an opening clip, and let me shout out everybody in the building. Right now, we're still building our audience. We've got 15 in the building. Can we get 15 likes? Can we get 15 shares? And let's get this thing started. And so my opening clip deals with my girl Sunday. She's my favorite female character on the show. And she's going back having to discuss something with Professor Sleep Your Way to the Top. Here we go.
So you're here because you need a new advisor, or you're going to have to leave the program, correct? I've read some of the chapters of your dissertation. They're compelling and well written, but I was wondering why there aren't any women in your research sample. Was that intentional?
I mean, I came here to study under Dr. Powell, and his focus is on male mass incarceration and generational trauma, so I explore how mass incarceration has forced Black families to become matriarchal.
Fascinating. I'd love to read what you've written on that.
Well, I haven't really started yet. I was planning on expanding my focus once I finished studying under Dr.
Your dissertation is the first indicator of where your lifetime of scholarship will focus. You have to start your career in your own voice. Everyone already knows what Matthew Powell is passionate about.
Okay. So I went from, I thought she was a helter-skelter character, to now they're actually giving you a little bit more background into that particular professor. And I could see where she could have some great roots in helping young women just off this one little scene. But we'll go ahead and we'll start with the introduction. And so they start out, Sunday and fiance, are sitting down. They're watching the opera, and they're just chatty today. They're just talking. And the daughter's like, would y'all shut the H up? But they're chatting because he wants her to go ahead and engage the professor and get back on the straight and narrow. Nita, I'll come to you first. How did you feel about the opening scene?
The opening scene was cute enough. It was it didn't really say much to me. It just said like there was some kind of tension that was going on between the two, and the daughter must have been catching some whim of it, and she was just kind of like annoyed. That's what I just thought. She was just annoyed. But I thought it was a cute scene because she is a mess. That's the boss baby right there.
Mm-hmm. That little baby is a ball of fire. But you know what? She seems to have a good relationship with Sunday, and Sunday has a good relationship with her.
Mm-hmm.
Moochie, how'd you like the opening opera scene?
I like the ballet. I like that she is into the flesh color shoes now for the black girls. I like that. It seems like Matthew was trying to get her to talk to Professor Donna Baptiste, because he seems like he wants her to work with her instead of the other guy that he said looked like he said he's a weirdo, like a weirdo here like Cornel West.
I don't think that's the only reason why either.
I don't think so either. I think he felt intimidated. I agree with you.
Yep, I felt a little tinge of that.
You think that the professor is intimidated of the other professor?
Yes.
Could be. I felt a little bit of that. Like
why you don't want her to be mentored by him?
By another male. Yeah. That's all I was saying. Just just by her history, he already know how it go.
Okay. Well, that'll parallel us to the very next scene where she's in here with, what's her name, Moochie?
This is Donna Baptiste.
She's in there with Professor Baptiste. Now, maybe y'all did get a feel of him being jealous of the other professor, but it seems to me like Donna Baptiste could be a hell of a good mentor. Forget how she feels about private life. Forget the last time we seen her, she talking about sleeping your way to the top. Forget all that. Let's just talk about what she said in this office about the things that Sunday should be doing, which I thought was good, and possibly being her mentor if Sunday can get this 15-page paper done. Moochie, I'll start with you. Give me what your insights were about this scene.
I felt like she wanted her to find her own way and not follow Matthew. And I was all for that.
Yep.
She wants her, because right now she was doing her whole thesis, her dissertation on everything that her and Matthews was into. And now she needs to find her own way, and that's what she has her doing, instead of she wants to know what she thinks. Right.
And I was with that.
I was too.
And
I'm glad they I'm glad they broke the ice and cleared everything up from the party situation.
I'm glad that Professor Baptiste wasn't a butthole about it, because she could have been a butthole because she's in the position of need right now. She could have really just, racked shop, acted like an arrogant but she didn't, which tells me I think that she sees something in Sunday that she feels like she can water that seed and it can grow to be a red oak. Give me your opinion on it, Nita.
Yeah, Sandy is so intelligent. I love her mind. And I think Professor Baptiste does as well. And what she really pointed out to Sandy was how male identified she was. She wanted her to find her female voice and not always look through the gaze of the male. We do that enough, don't we? So we need more women to look through our gaze and our perspective. And she hit it right on the dime. She said it, and she was like, that's great. Now run with it. Now, what do you got to say about it? She was like, well, I didn't do any research and all of these things. But so, like she said, she gave her that motivation to just, come on, give me a 15-page paper. What can we do? You got 3 days to knock it out. I'll let you know whether or not I'll be your mentor. So I enjoyed the scene. I enjoyed it.
Cool. All right, we're going to get to moving on here. And this little girl is so funny to me. So Sunday's in there working on a paper. Oh, we got the living legend in here. I'm about to let him in here. Larry's in the building. We'll get to him in just a second. So Sunday's writing the paper, and the little girl who has a very expanded vocabulary, she says, I need a beverage. Can we go to the store? She didn't say, Mama, give me some juice. She didn't say, Mama, I need some juice. She said, I need a beverage. So they go to the store and damn. Look who's at the store, got out his meeting early, having donuts and excuse me. It wasn't donuts. It was, what was it, Moochie?
Scones.
A scone and coffee. And that ensues to they get back to the house. And Sunday really tells us how she's feeling. You know, she's got this paper on her back, which is going to be, connected to her career. She's with this man. And now there were some things I felt like she should have used a different tenor. She throws in his face that she's not the daughter's mother, but she is playing that role because she wants to marry this man. However, she also feels that he's been neglecting a lot of the roles that two should be playing in a situation where you're both professional. And I can understand that. And so, Larry, since you're first to get in here, you're last to get in here and the ladies have spoken, go ahead and tell us what you thought about this whole scene.
I thought Sandy ain't shit.
No, you didn't.
I did.
Did you really think that?
I did, because I'll tell you part of the reason is because she's up there acting like she's all in. She's putting it forward like she's all in on this, and she moved into his place and she's giving him attitude like I'm all here and I'm all in for you. And yet she hasn't given up her apartment. And so she's clearly working with a fallback plan. And
you didn't know that yet in this scene, though.
No.
Okay, I don't know it in this scene, but I know it now. And so,
okay. Well, go back. Like you didn't know that. Do you still think she ain't SHIT?
Well, she still ain't caca.
In this scene, I felt her pain a bit in this scene, because here she is. He knows that she has something to do, that she has this paper that needs to get written, this 15-page paper in a matter of 3 days that need to get written. And instead of him saying, okay, let me go ahead and take all the burden off of you for the next 3 days, he's up there having coffee and scones. And
look at the look on his face when he got caught, looking like Cuba Gooding Jr. little brother. He just got look.
He like, what? The what?
Regardless if they were married or not married or whatever, he should have taken all of the burden off of her. He should have just said, look, don't worry about it. I got my daughter for the next few days. That's his responsibility anyways. He should have been like, I'm going to make sure you have food to eat and whatever else you need for the next couple of days so you can get this done, because he knows that she needs a new advisor. And this is the thing. It's not even like he's doing this in such a way where he's like, oh, well, if you don't get this done, you can write something else or whatever. No, if she doesn't find a new advisor, she's out of this program. And all of that time, all of that energy, all of the money that it costs to go through this program is for naught. Right. And so, and to be honest with you, he needs to really protect this situation with her, because if she doesn't find another advisor and she really gets angry over it because they are like trying to put her out, her last resort really is to go to the ethics board and be like, look, this wasn't a relationship I wholly wanted. I was sort of forced into this. And then when it blew up, I was sort of forced to have to say something. That's what I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but that would be something she could do. And there's plenty of people that would do that. If it came down between him or her, a lot of people are going to choose. When it comes down to you or someone else, a lot of people are going to choose themselves. And if he's not going to protect her, she might have to find herself in a position where she has to protect herself. And so, he needs to look out for her.
Are you backpedaling the Sandy ain't shit comment? Because it sounds like in all of what you just said now, you backpedaling that.
No, I'm not backpedaling. Sandy still isn't shit. But just because you didn't do something in one area doesn't mean that you're not shit in another. She still ain't shit. She's still up there acting like she's up there living all in while she clearly has a backup plan. That's like someone who's sitting up there saying, oh, I'm all in love with you. I love you. Let's get married, while they have a jump off just in case the main chick falls through.
She don't even have a ring. She's sitting up here doing wifely duties. She's don't have a ring. She doesn't have any guarantees.
You guys are both talking over each other.
I'm sorry.
Well, Nita, I'm gonna come to you now, Nita. given the current situation with Sandy, what do you think about this particular scene?
I would say I understand what she was saying. I think she kind of, I don't want to say went overboard, like in how upset she got. Like she really, really, really got really upset. So I think he's reasonable enough to have a conversation with. So, I didn't agree with her about the way she came, what she was saying. I understood exactly what she was saying because, like I said, she's performing wifely duties and she is no wife. And there's no guarantee. So I don't have to be all in unless I got a ring on my finger and I have a guarantee. Because what they say, you single till you not.
Well, let me ask you this. We can't do this with hold it, damn it. We can't do this with everybody talking over each other. I'm the moderator and the host. So I'm gonna give y'all an opportunity to go back at each other. Now I'm on the edge tonight. I'm gonna warn y'all. No talking over each other, or we will end this shit like a bad habit. I'm gonna get to you, Larry, and I'm gonna go back to Nita. Nita, so are you saying that because you don't have a ring on your finger, as a woman or a man, are you saying it's okay to keep secrets when you're trying to be monogamous? Is that what you're saying? So it would be okay if a man is telling a woman he's all in with her, but he's still got something else he's hiding from her that he's not in case it goes wrong with her. Are you saying that's okay?
I don't really, it doesn't bother me. It does not bother me at all. And I y'all can say it's a lie. I could just say he didn't ask. He didn't care. He didn't ask. She moved in. That's what he wanted. That's what she gave him. I don't think she owes him more than that. I don't have to sell my place. Or what if it didn't sell yet? Like, what if there are some things like, well, she did say later on, I ain't trying to put my track shoes on, but she did say that she was holding it. But at the same time, you need your space too.
Okay, Larry, pivot back to what you want to say.
First of all, let's get to why you're upset and on edge tonight. Are you all right?
Oh, I'm good. I'm just sleepy. I'm tired. I'm just sleepy and tired. That's it.
All right. Well, you know to hit me up. You need to chat about anything,
ain't
man.
Nothing like that. I'm just sleeping tired. Ain't nothing like that.
All right. Well, this is what I had to say is that, when he asked her to move in and they talked about going all in with their relationship and they agreed that they were going to do that. And now it turns out that she's not. So it's not just a matter of he didn't ask. They both talked about it explicitly and decided that that's what they were going to do, except that's not what she did. And so,
but she did though.
But she didn't because she's holding back and she's keeping a backup plan in her apartment. So she didn't go all in means that you get rid of your backup plans. If you're getting married to somebody, you can't keep your B team on hold while you're married and say, well, I don't sleep with them. I just keep them there on injured reserve in case you start acting a damn fool. I have something to turn back to. That's not the way. That's not what going all in means. All in means that when you go all in, if it all fails, you have to start again because you gave all your old stuff up. And she's not doing that. She clearly is not doing that.
But he didn't though. He still get to keep his stuff. So if things go south, I just be ass out, but you got a house. Like, because how does that work?
First of all, she lives in her place is student housing. He lives in a nice ass brownstone that he owns. So as far as her moving into his place is because his place is a whole lot nicer. And generally, because she's in student housing, you can't move non-students into student housing. Only students can live there. So it's not a matter of, well, he can move to her place. That's just simply not an option.
Right.
Because you can't have non-students live there.
Yeah. Moochie, jump on in here. I'm not going to discuss my thoughts on Sunday and the apartment till we get there, because I do have questions about that. And the questions I have was truths and lies she revealed in that scene when she let Whitney in her own house. But Moochie, just break down this particular scene right here.
With this, I feel like she did have a right to say what she was saying because she is performing duties that a wife and a mother perform. And he knows that she has to get her dissertation together for school, and it's very important so she can stay there. And even though I think it was just like a little misstep. I worded that way because he probably happened to be just walking home and, let me just stop here and have some coffee. I don't think it was that deep.
It wasn't
intentional,
for.
I don't think it was intentional.
Right.
I think it was just like,
not for him. It wasn't for him, but for Sandy it was. For him, it was like, I'm gonna just run in here. I guess in his mind, he's thinking, okay, you ain't expect me to be back home to this time. So, like you said, I'm gonna catch up on whatever the hell I'm doing, then I'm gonna get there. But he also knows she's there not being able to get anything done because she's kind of watching your daughter, kind of not. Even though the daughter's kind of an age where she can do things on her own independent of an adult, she still is kind of, giving cover for the child while he's not there. So I don't like, it wasn't a big deal for him.
They still require some attention.
Yeah,
right, enough.
I mean, you can sit them down and tell them to entertain themselves, but they still want attention. And I believe that she likes interacting with Sandy. Sandy likes her.
Yeah, she do. Go ahead, Larry.
I want to point out, I saw in the comment section that some people were saying that, and Nita co-signed on it, saying women get no credit, and talking about, she's up there doing whatever and getting no credit. But here's the thing. He's also doing duties that are typically thought of as husbandly duties, like providing food and shelter for her. He lives in that nice ass brownstone that there's no possible way in hell that a graduate student can afford. And she's not affording it. She lives there and he's paying for it. And that is something that he's providing. So while she provides some things that are non-material things that are, providing emotional support for his daughter, or watching her, or cooking or cleaning, some of the things that people often think of as wifely duties. I don't want to lump them together because I know there's plenty of households, including mine, where those duties are split. But he's doing things that are also thought of traditionally as male husbandly duties. He didn't move her in and ask her to pay half his mortgage. He's not moving her in and asking her to pay anything for food. It seems to me like he's providing the stuff that a husband would normally provide. And so if he's providing husbandly duties and she's providing wifely duties, I think it's sort of ridiculous and unfair for people to sit up there and say, well, she's providing this. And so, she should, she's providing this. And so we should go ahead and put her on some elevated level. Well, he's also providing the same thing on the other end of the spectrum.
My whole thing about it is that he is not unreasonable. Now, I can see if we was talking to somebody that is unreasonable. Now, by all means, I've seen him be reasonable. Like, I just think that she needs to communicate with him. If she established her boundaries, he respects them, then we on the same page. That's all. You just need to communicate. And I'm not trying to say one is better than the other, but at the same time, that is his responsibility that she is taking on.
Well,
now, don't y'all feel like most of the men on this show are pretty reasonable when it comes to you can approach them and communicate with them?
Right.
Here's my personal belief, and this is just me. Other people will feel differently, obviously. I don't think you should live together until you're married. I think of him simply saying, okay, we've been caught, we're out, they know about us, let's get married. Let's get married, yes. And you come and move in, and and we're married now. That would have been fine, and that would have been cool. Everything would have been hunky dory. When I got married, I told my wife, I said, I don't want us to live together until even when we were out here. There was a period of time when she had given up her apartment, and right before we got married, and it was like a week, and she went and stayed with a friend. I was like, we said we weren't going to live together before we got married. Why are we going to go back on that 1 week before we get married? So we didn't. And I think that's the way it should be. There's no confusion about, I'm doing wifely duties. I'm not a wife. Well, if you're a wife and you're doing wifely duties, okay. You're a wife.
Okay. Yes. I totally agree.
I mean, I think that's the easiest solution is just to marry the chick. And if you don't want to marry her, then, I mean, as my mom used to say, this is part of the woman's responsibility too. If you don't give up, Don't
Why
go
buy
around.
the
If
cow if
he
you
wants
getting
the
the milk
milk,
for
make him buy
free?
the cow.
Yeah.
You know, if he doesn't want the cow, then you don't get the milk.
Well, he getting the milk,
He
the
like
eggs, the
TV.
juice, and the water.
I mean, I agree with some of that, and some of it I don't agree with. I just think it really depends on the maturity of the people involved in these various relationships y'all are talking about. That's how I think.
I think as time goes on and people are used to living in more non-traditional, households and relationships, I think the attitudes will change and some of the ideas of what are expected between men and women and wifely duties and husbandly duties will change over time. But when you come from a traditional background where you think of wifely duties are this, husbandly duties are that, and then you move into a non-traditional household where you guys aren't husband and wife, well, then people might start feeling some resentment, like, why am I doing all this wifely stuff and I'm not a wife? Why am I doing all this husbandly stuff? I'm not a husband. The best way to resolve that is either to, one, become husband and wife, or two, live in separate households.
Well, explain to me, if you're committed in a relationship with someone and there's a plan to get married, what are you doing differently from a wife other than you're on paper, you're married and you don't have the ring?
It's not just on paper, though. That's the thing. People often say it's on paper, but as a married person, that when you say those vows and you take that oath before God, that there's something that clicks inside you that says, this is different. This is not just a boyfriend or a girlfriend. This is my wife, and I owe her something now, and she owes me something. We are a single unit.
No, that didn't click with me. For me, it clicked when I said, you are my one. I am with you. We're getting married. It was already clicked in. When I committed to her as a boyfriend, I was fully committed. And we was moving as a unit then. And when we got married, the only thing that did was solidify what we had already did with the paper and the ring.
Well, then it's different for you. Then for me, it happened when we set our I do's. I knew I wanted to be with her forever, but I also knew that until there was this bonding between her and I and God, that things could have gone awry, and she could have went away somewhere. I could have went away somewhere, and then we found other people. So for me, once we both said I do, it changed things for me. And so maybe that's one of the things. Maybe it's different for some people. It sounds to me, though, like those people are not thinking like you do. I think maybe they want to think like you do, but they don't, because they're still very much in the mindset of wifely duties, husbandly duties, and they're feeling some sort of resentment because they're thinking, well, I'm performing wifely duties without the wifely benefits or without being a wife. And so they still have that mindset of, I should be married before I have to do all this. Even though they're doing it, she's still feeling in her mind somewhere, if I'm doing this, I should be the wife.
Doing it and feeling unappreciated, right? So she did say she felt unappreciated. She said, ever since she walked in, she didn't have to. He never picks up nothing off the, she said he never picks up a dish, never does this, never does that. He takes for granted she's going to watch the kid all the time. So, I mean, like you said it in the first segment when you first came on, that he really should have been more attentive during that time and space where he knew that she had business to take care of. Even though he had that little meeting and all that stuff, I just think that's where, like, I don't even think we would have got that blow up if he came home and relieved that whole situation where she could focus and stuff like that. I don't even think the conversation would have happened. But she just got teed off.
I agree. It's one of those things. I think it's the same way, and I don't even think it matters about the kid so much. It's just a matter of when people have stuff that's going on in their life that keeps them occupied, that someone needs to maintain focus in their life for a period of time, that you take care of everything else so they don't have to. It's just like if you get sick. If you get sick, you don't expect your spouse to get up and cook and clean and do their half of the chores. You just say, stay in bed, keep your focus on your health, get well. I'll take care of the other stuff. And when you get better, we go back to normal. There's nothing different if someone has to write a 15-page paper. You take care of that. I'll take care of this. And when it's done, we go back to normal.
Right.
All right. Moving right along. We've got Renee, little cutie patootie Renee. who's headed to some kind of affair where there's a strong male actor and a group performing. And look who gives her a call because she's feeling lonely right about now. She's lonely, drinking wine, eating donuts and brownies, and got her hair tied up. And she wants to go, and our girl is like, nah, you're not going. So she didn't
even drink out of that. Go back to that photo. She didn't even drink it. You see any lip gloss rings on that glass?
She just
poured that wine.
I think she just poured it. Yeah, she just poured it. And
I'm surprised she's not drinking out the bottle.
She's gonna have to finish drinking it. She's gonna have to finish drinking it because she ain't getting in this party. But then when we do get to this event and they're dancing, we get to meet old Romeo Cornell right here. He's some kind of big shot actor or something to that effect.
Emmett Wolf.
And they're talking. This is that his publicist, Moochie?
Yeah, that's his publicist.
Okay. And to make this very long story short, because the only thing that was drama filled was the fact that he walks in the bathroom, out pops a Hispanic jump off, and the homeboy just sitting at this table pulled out a picture of his wife. Well, I don't know if she's his wife or not, but whoever it is, he claims to be committed to this woman, and she's about to have this baby. Nita, you back on deck. Break down this whole entire scene.
Well, are we getting to the drama of the scene, or are we just keeping it light? Like,
no, you can do the whole entire thing. Whatever floats your boat.
Okay, so yeah, once we got to the only thing I really care about was when we got down and we sat down and Mr. Hollywood man said he was expecting a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ella goes to the bathroom and hears the back end of a session with him and another woman.
What kind of a counseling session? A therapy session?
A session.
Session? What kind of session are we having up in there?
Clapping session. Clapping those sheets.
Oh, y'all like the sound effects?
Yeah, I know, Moochie. Wait a minute. Moochie, them sound effects is, boy, I'm scared of them sound effects. Go ahead, Moochie, jump on in there, man. Jump on in there.
Bringing up some memories.
Oh,
I digress.
Oh, goodness.
Go ahead, Moochie. What you got to say about the situation?
No, I didn't.
Other than your sound effects. Oh, I thought she was done.
No, she's not done.
Oh, my bad, Nita.
Oh no, I mean I guess I was. The thing is that the whole big riff. I wonder, do y'all think she should have wrote the story to protect her friend? Because her friend invited her, and she knew the friend was gonna know exactly how it happened.
Came from.
She knew all that. She knew all that.
I was like,
here's the problem. The very next scene, her boss is basically telling her to acquiesce and just run the story anyway. It's going to be the biggest story for her website and all that. So, I mean, what do? Do you listen to your boss? Do you make a judgment call and be like, I'm not ratting my friend out? What do you do in that situation?
What does the consequence look like, though? I don't know.
No, we don't know. All right, Moochie.
All right, so now they go to this listening party, and I've been to one of those before. They're really good when you hear new bands and stuff like that. And it do be celebrities, and they had like a closed session too. So you're gonna see a whole lot of there.
Wait, what's that? Is that more your sound effects? You're gonna see some more there. Okay.
Oh God, I shouldn't have did that, right?
No.
But I can't even get away from it now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I was saying is he shouldn't have took out that doggone baby. Don't picture her pregnant. He's telling all his business. But I guess he felt like he was in good company.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, it was a private session, and that whole after thing was private too. So even the Rolling Stone people done left. So she was the only person there from media. And then this girl brought her in off the strength of, you my friend, so I want you to come to this.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah,
I didn't I didn't like what she did.
Yeah.
I thought it was foul. And I'm not gonna run no more. When we get to the next thing, I'll elaborate on it more.
Okay, Larry, jump on in there.
I just want to say that this was just another example of Renee's stupidity and her lack of impulse control.
That's
Huh?
That's Ella.
Stella, whatever. Yeah, her. It's just another example of her stupidity and lack of impulse control and lack of forward thinking. I mean, as somebody who used to work in the music industry as a photographer and had been around plenty of people, been on tour buses and in studios and in small listening parties and VIP sections of clubs and all that stuff, and seen all the stuff that goes on, what she should have been thinking about is, okay, I just saw this. This is a very nice chip to have in the game. Now I can publish this story and torpedo this guy's relationship and destroy my friendship and my relationship with his publicist, my friend, or I can simply go to her and say, hey, this is what I just saw. I'm being pressured to write a story about it. What could you offer me in exchange so I have something better? And now all of a sudden her publicist is like, let's get you some exclusives. Let's get you something else. Let's get you forget this one story. Let's get you 5 or 6 other stories, not with just this artist, but my other artist as well. And you parlay that. Not only
it was a parlay that was in the works because she was getting ready to work out something where she was going to talk to that group that was on stage performing.
Yeah, that's my point. She blew up all that. She blew up that relationship and everything that could have come from it. What you do in those situations is you simply say, okay, what can I get out of this? This dude obviously is caught. He doesn't want to get outed. And so what you do is you simply tell the woman, this is what I have. And then she's going to say, okay, I don't want you to run the story, so let me give you something better. Let me give you something that's exclusive. Let me tell you, okay, you're gonna get the first story and pictures of the new baby, or you're gonna get the behind the scenes when he's on tour, when he's doing this or that. You're gonna get something else that's gonna be just as big or potentially bigger, or you're gonna get a number of stories that are gonna be big, so that you don't run this one. And she has other artists that are on her roster too, so you can get in on the other rosters. There's so many times I know for a fact that people have said, this guy's cool, he can come on our bus because he keeps his mouth shut. He shoots photos, he puts his camera down when he needs to, he picks it up when he needs to, and when he leaves the bus, he doesn't say anything to anybody. And you continue to get work when you learn to keep your mouth shut. And when you see something so big, or you take a picture of something so big, you learn when to tuck that photo away or tuck that piece of information away, and you tell the publicist that you have it. So the publicist will then say, okay, cool. Let's just get you out to this next thing and the next thing and the next thing, so that you never have the desire to bring that thing up. She screwed herself entirely.
I have a question. Okay, so let's say I'm the publicist. Let's say I'm Larry's publicist. I seen him, and somebody seen Larry doing something he ain't supposed to do, no matter what it is. All right, and they come to me and say, Lamont, everything Larry just said, you're his publicist. I seen him doing this. I don't have no photos, but I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. What you gonna give me sounds like blackmail to not publish this. Can you give me some exclusive gigs later on? You know what I would have said? I would have said, Larry, someone's trying to blackmail us. I ain't giving them shit. They ain't got no photos. I ain't giving them nothing. And then what you do, Larry?
Then you run the story if that's what you want to do.
Oh, okay.
But you talk to him, and you say, hey, this is what I saw. I'm being told I should run this story. And then you give them the opportunity to make you an offer to say, no, don't run the story. How about we give you something else? How about we give you an exclusive somewhere? You know his baby's about to drop. Why don't we give you an exclusive profile on him, his wife, their at-home situation, the new father, new mother angle, all that. Send a photographer. You get that angle, and you keep the other stories quiet. I mean,
you know, salaciousness sells. Happy home, kinda.
Well, like,
Happy home sale, like, you know how much money
they may get some traction, but not like the salaciousness will.
Nah, the salaciousness stuff sells quickly for a hot second, but I can tell you right now for a fact, people will pay, for instance, somebody may pay $50,000 for a picture of, you know, Ben Affleck cheating on his wife with some random chick or leaving a club with some random chick. They will pay millions of dollars for a first look portrait session with him and his wife and a new baby. That's the cover of magazine stuff that people will pay $1 million. In fact, they have. People will pay that. And so, I mean, yes, salaciousness does sell, but the whole happy family first look at a baby, people love that stuff. They eat that stuff for dinner. I mean, it's just. I think she screwed herself, and I think she screwed herself, and I think the magazine screwed themselves. I think they should have just simply said, "No, we're going to parlay this into something bigger."
I feel like she shouldn't even have told Barb because that was her homegirl.
Exactly.
That's how I feel. I feel like that's my homegirl I went to school with, and me and her is real tight. Even though we don't see each other, it's like she was the type of friend like y'all don't see each other, but it's like as soon as y'all get back together, it's like y'all never was spend time apart.
Yeah, I feel like she had to tell Barb. I feel like she had to tell Barb because she had a professional responsibility to tell her editor.
But she was supposed to be there. She was there as a friend, not as a reporter.
Right. She wasn't on the assignment.
She wasn't on the list to come there like that.
Okay, then maybe she doesn't tell her. She wasn't.
When she was going to those movie reviews, those movie reviews, she's the last person they talk to.
If she was just there on a personal tip, then fine. But from my understanding from watching it, was her friend, who's the publicist, invited her because of what she does, because she knew that her artists were going to get some good publicity off of her. From my understanding, she was invited because of her profession. And not just for that kind of news. No, not from that news, but she was invited there because of her job. She was invited because she was going to be able to write something about this new artist to, in their online magazine. And it just so happened she stumbled onto another story. But I think she should have. I think because she was there, because of who she was and what she did, that she owed Barb the professional responsibility to tell her about it. And then tell her, I think we should probably parlay this into something else. She already went in there, and this is part of the problem. She's there as a journalist, and she's going in there with this sort of like moralistic idea. Oh, what makes men think it's okay to cheat and blah, 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 blah. I mean, you were there as a music reporter. You're there as a culture and entertainment reporter for this group. You saw something else happen, and now you're placing all kinds of moral judgments on it and saying, she wrote that article because she wanted to attack what he did. She wanted to attack him as a man and his cheating, not because she wanted to really write that story because she thought there was some real value to it. She just wanted to attack him and his cheating. What she should have done is taken that and used it to get more out of him and the other artist on that publicist roster. But she didn't. She screwed herself. And now this woman's saying that I'm going to F you over and I'm going to run your name through the mud in this industry. And anytime somebody says no to you or they're pissed off at you, that's coming from me. And she didn't need to have that.
That's why she should have kept her mouth shut.
That's exactly right.
That says it right there. Kept her mouth shut. I invited you here off the strength of you being my friend. Not for an article, but yeah, I'll give you a feature for this group. That's how it happened. She didn't come near to doing her job. She knows what she does, but it wasn't for that. Because the only group that was there was Rolling Stone magazine. There was nobody else there.
So check this. So after she's having this conversation with her editor, she takes it on, and as Larry said, he does have a point about this. She already kind of had it in her mind that men, this is what they do, to the point where she's trying to have one of them. What kind of session you call it, Moochie?
A smash session? Oh,
them cheek section. and she makes a comment to him, and he's just like, I don't care what they do. I don't like that sleazy mess. And he did take a jab at her job and says, he took a jab at her job, but he also says she's better than that.
A backhanded compliment.
Kind of, sort of. And that just prelim to her just saying, you know what, get the hell out of my house. You ain't getting none of these draws. And Larry, I'll go ahead and start with you. Break this down for me.
Yeah, this is one of those things. It was like, you could see it in her face. The moment she did that, she realized that she fucked up. You know, I heard Bill Duke in my head from like Menace to Society, where she's up there and said, you know, you done fucked up, right? You know, you done fucked up. Because that's what she did. She looked like, oh shit, I didn't kick him out of here on some bullshit that had nothing to do with us. You know? Mm-hmm. And he, you know, he said it, you know, like when she said, why are you talking shit about my job? And he said, you talk shit about your job all the time. And it wasn't like he was talking stuff bad about her. He was telling her, I think you're better than this. You think you're better than this. I understand you're doing what you do because you need to work, but let's not forget that this little thing that you're doing right here is not who you are. You know, you're not as small as this job is. You're much bigger than that. And you need not get comfortable and think that this is where you fit in. This little tiny box is not where you fit. You know, and he reminded her of that, and she didn't like it and got mad and put him up out of there. And, you know, I think that was just sort of stupid and ridiculous. She's going to regret that the next day even more when he, you know, because he's going to be, I don't think he's that sort of, I don't think he's that petty and revengeful, but he's probably going to be like, look, you can't do that. You can't just say every time you get upset, get out, F you, get out. That's not going to work for me, you know?
Okay. Nita, you next on deck. Talk about the scene where Renee just had what she saw on the brain, so much so that he couldn't even distract her with clapping the cheeks.
Right. I saw that comment. That's Ella. Okay, so with this scene, I don't know why she is so career driven. It's not even like that's what she really wants to do. That's not her passion. That's not even what but I guess she's one of those people, one of those type A people that your career, whatever you do it to the best of your ability type thing. So I don't know why it was so heavily on her mind like that. And yeah, that backhanded compliment did not help. And what is it with her and not finishing her sessions? Like she be quick to throw a nigga ball.
Yep, I was going to say,
is that like the third time? We can start calling her Madam Blue Balls, because that's like the third time she left the dude out there hanging.
And yo, this is the dude she loves.
Colonizer.
This is the dude she loves. She cares for, and she's even giving him the blue. This is the dude she was trying to bury all the bodies with to make up for him, and she's even making him jump out without a parachute. Man, Lord have mercy.
I have to tell you, when I look at all of these women, I think to myself, they don't deserve good men because they don't know how to act. They don't know how to act with a good man. They will take a good man and destroy him so that he doesn't look at women the same way anymore. They don't deserve good men yet. They need to work on themselves and then get a good man.
Only Sunday, I'll say, deserves a good man. But other the rest of them,
she's communicating with him constantly.
She
let him know whatever's wrong with her.
Mm-hmm. Except one time.
Except for one time that we know of. If you hide in a whole apartment, hey man.
Yeah, I have a problem with that part too. But we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get there. Go ahead, Moochie. What do you think about
this? With her, she always leaving somebody in mid-stroke.
You know what? Let me tell you what they could do with that. And nowhere am I saying this is something you could do. Sometimes you get someone who's in mid-stroke and then you wind up having a Mike Tyson situation. And I just got a feeling that the fact that y'all picked up on that she keeps leaving people mid-stroke, I have a feeling they might add a little drama in this thing and have a situation like that where she think somebody might, I ain't gonna say they're gonna do it like that, but they're gonna like, you're not leaving this room till I get off. Because she has done that with every man she's been with. Don't be surprised if y'all see that. Go ahead, Moochie.
cutting dude off in mid-stroke. I don't understand why would you mention this stuff now? While y'all doing it. And he sat there and listened to the whole conversation with her and Bob, and you could tell he was agitated by it.
He was.
He was agitated by it. Like, why are you even gonna do something like this? Like and she even like, well, what about the girl that's having the baby? You know you about to mess up somebody's life right now.
To upset her, right?
Yeah. Now it'd be messed up if the girl lose the baby now that just came out in the story.
But what dude also says here, we don't know what kind of agreements they have in their relationship. You don't know if they have an open marriage. Bob was saying
they had some kind of open relationship.
But you're gonna go ahead and put his business all out in the street because you think his relationship is not how relationships should be. You don't know. She might have been like, "Look, sweetie, I'm pregnant. I can't have sex for the next 6 weeks. I know you have needs. Go out there and enjoy yourself. Just don't bring anything back home with me." You know, and so he might have been out there doing that, just having free, meaningless sex. And now she's about to put his whole situation on blast.
I can tell you right now, if a woman was to allow a man to have that situation, she do not want you in there clapping cheeks in the bathroom. that damn near tells how nasty the woman is. She's gonna let you clap them cheeks in the bathroom.
She surely doesn't want you going to spend. She surely doesn't want you to go and spend money to go buy and to get a nice hotel and wine and dine the chick, and she doesn't want you bringing her home. So, you know,
hey, she don't want you in the bathroom either. It's got to be a median. You ain't got to take it to the Roach Motel, but damn, you ain't got to take it to the Marriott either. And you definitely ain't screwing in no bathroom. I just tell you that right now.
It looked like it was a nice place. Maybe they had a nice bathroom.
Okay.
They sound like they was up against the wall and her foot was hitting the door. How about that?
Yeah.
Or they was over the sink or something.
But because Ella couldn't even get in she couldn't even get in the bathroom. Remember, she pushed on the door.
She pushed on the door.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next, you get to kick off this one, Nita. So we get our girl Renee. Even though I'm totally parallel to Renee, I do have somewhat of a little soft spot for her. Not like, I would do anything serious with her, but I see some potential. And this little hazing she's going through with being divorced, I think and what happened in this scene might be the turn for Renee. So let's break this down. So Renee's chilling with a homegirl that works for her, and then comes in one of her college classmates, right? Works for L'Oreal, does the makeup, and Renee gives her this grand idea. And you know what? She's like, you know what? I'm gonna put you on. All right. Oops, wrong one, excuse me. So she's like, I'm gonna put you on. So Renee goes back and tells the people at her job, she's like, look, my friend got me XYZ with L'Oreal. And what do? They say, because you don't have enough seasoning, we're going to send old Romeo white dude in there. And that leads to Renee getting up, Black Lives Matter, and quitting. Then her homegirl comes and quits with her, which I'm telling y'all right now, I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction. After Renee goes through this, she's going to be begging for her husband to come back, because she's going to completely understand why the husband left his Wall Street job and wanted to find his passion, because this looks like some situation he might would have went through in his job. But Anita, I give it to you first.
I hope not.
I'm giving it to you.
I'm going in a whole.
Why would you not want a married couple back together?
I'm going in a whole, because it's done.
What's done about it?
She
Apparently
said,
they've been through this like 9 times.
What? She said leave. He said peace. Done deal. Sometimes it's not worth going back, because sometimes when things,
folks will just throw stuff away, like throw years away, like it meant nothing.
You can't get your time back. I'm a firm believer of that. So anyway, I'm going in a whole nother direction. I was thinking that maybe even she could open up her own firm, because she already knows the job. She's just, because patriarchy and whatever. Or she could work with the lady at L'Oreal, and maybe they can put her on, because I don't even understand why the hell would you give the job to a white man? What the hell does he know about makeup? Like that doesn't even make any sense. You could just tell it was just misogyny, the reason why they dated, because that didn't even make any sense. She thought she was gonna be up for partner, so obviously she didn't put the time in.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm hoping either she go with the girl from L'Oreal, or I hope her and the white girl open up their own firm and give them a run for their money.
That's coming. I'm telling you.
That's what I'm hoping for.
That's coming, but it's going to also make her. It's going to really also make her understand why her husband quit his job and was trying to do the band thing. I'm telling you. Jump on in there, Moochie.
Okay, with this scene, when they gave the position to what's his name?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. White boy Rick, white boy
Right.
Danny.
His name
You
was
can call him. Hell, you can call him Mitt Romney if you want to.
He didn't even know where to start. She had the whole pitch and everything. So I feel like he doesn't know anything about the makeup thing, like what Nita said.
Right.
She did, and I'm glad she spoke how much she sacrificed for this job.
Mm-hmm.
Because she said, I sacrificed my whole 20s for this place.
Mm-hmm.
Time, which you cannot get back. And look what she had to do.
Exactly.
She had
You
to
can't
walk
get
away.
time back. And
You gotta walk away.
I like the way they walked out. I was laughing.
I was cracking up.
Yeah,
when she was like, Maya Angelou.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Now what's
and
up
then
with
I'm dropping the microphone.
What's up with the cornball? What's up with the cornball? Who's going to watch them go out? He just went.
Yeah, they was like, stay strong. And he was like,
it was the best.
Jump on in there, Big Larry.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're probably setting it up to have her and the white chick start their own shop. And that's cool. Maybe in the TV world, that'll, they can start their own shop and land this L'Oreal account. But in reality, L'Oreal is likely not giving a major account like that to a two-person startup firm. It's just likely not going to happen. It's too much. It's too big and too much for a startup firm with two people to take that account on. So they're probably going to go with somebody else. Probably either stay where they are or they'll find another firm. Now, it wouldn't. If it was a small spinoff brand, maybe they would work something like that, especially if her friend does get that promotion, because she said next year she's up for senior VP. Then she probably is in a position where she can actually greenlight those types of deals. But right now, she could probably make the recommendation, like she said, let me take it to the big bosses. She can make those recommendations, but she's not going to be the one that says yay or nay on them. So, I get why she got upset about it. I also understand, I don't know how much experience this other dude had running major accounts versus Renee. I know Renee made a pitch. Apparently they liked the pitch, but I don't know how much experience they, because they basically said, we want you to work with him and on this and learn and get the experience. It sounded to me almost like what they were saying is, we want you to promote, we want you to run this stuff, but we want to know that you can do it. And maybe they should have been grooming her sooner and faster and got her into a position earlier, but it sounds like they were trying to do it there. The way that she went out, the way she got out there and screamed and cursed everybody out and stormed out of there like she had a temper tantrum, I wouldn't want to work with her. Never. I would if I heard that story and I was in that industry, I would never want to work with her. I would think that I would look at that temper tantrum and look at that as a representation of what she is possible of with my business, and I wouldn't be comfortable with that. And
I disagree.
Well, what would you say about her friend leaving? With her friend just jumped up and left Black Lives Matter. So what's the friend problem?
The friend, let's be real with the friend here. The friend is a rich ass white chick that can afford to do that. If you don't recall, just a scene or two before that, she was trying to equate her to potentially having to sell her handbags to having to sell her place in the Hamptons. Her friend is on a whole different. She's in an entirely different economic stratus than Renee is, and so for her to pick up and leave her job isn't mean dick. She can sell one of her mini homes somewhere and live for the next few years off of that. That woman doesn't need that job. She probably keeps that job just to keep her mind busy.
Well, so she sounds like a prime equity partner for Renee and whatever white girl who supports Black Lives Matter's name is. That's what it sounds like to me.
Probably. But you know, I do
equity
agree with
partner.
you. I do agree with you. She's probably going to go through this thing. And I don't know if she's going to get back with her husband, but I think she's going to go through this thing where she realizes, crap, I think he was right. I understand why he left this job to do something that he really cares about, because we all know in these big corporate, these big corporate jobs in white corporate America, Black people are not promoted at the same rates and other people. And so if he's at this private equities firm, he might have been like, look, I'm generating hundreds of millions of dollars for you, and you're promoting this little dude that just came out of school 3 years ago, or this other guy who's a complete dimwit, and you're promoting him over me. He might have been like, you know what? I'm out. I want to do something else anyway, so I'm going to go do it. So maybe she does end up actually understanding where he's coming from. I'm not sure that they're going to get back together because she seems like she's wholly selfish and self-absorbed. So, but
this is the shakeup right here. This is the shakeup right here, because you're not going to be able to have those same traits when you're partnering with someone to start a new business. Trust me, I know.
Do y'all think they're going to ask him to come back?
Get with somebody just for that purpose? Is that what you were saying, Lamar? That you get back with him just for that purpose?
No, I'm saying she's going to get back. I'm saying she's going to get back with him because the icing on the cake for her and their breakup was the fact that he left his Wall Street job, which was the lifestyle she was accustomed to pursue music. She never had a conversation with him.
He was hosting a band that was playing in the damn subway.
Okay.
He was taking care of a band that was playing in the subway.
Whatever. Something dealing with music. Whatever dealing with music. And now that she can kind of relate, okay, maybe someone was holding him back, even though he was making good money, and he didn't felt like they was utilizing his true potential. He wanted to do something different. And now that she's actually going through the same kind of process, she might be like, you know what? I kind of understand what you was going through. Maybe I was a little hasty. And they keep breaking up, getting back together as if they don't want to separate in the first place. This might be something to open her eyes to understand that last situation that was the icing on the cake that made them separate. That's all I'm saying.
Remember, I don't know. Well, we don't know if the wedding's going to happen, but
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Remember, he's in the wedding.
Sure that I would want to come back because I'm not.
No, but he's in the wedding, so she's gonna see him.
Okay,
right. But okay. I'm not sure I'd want to come back if I was him, because I would feel like I don't think I can't trust you, for one, because anytime I do something that you don't like, you're gonna feel that it's okay to just throw the whole marriage away because you don't like something. And on top of that, the second that you don't feel like you don't like something, you want to throw the whole marriage away, and then the next day you want to go and jump on some new dick. You want to start running around with some new dude calling community peen, seeing if you can hook up with him or hooking up with some other cornball that you said that runs some Wall Street something or the other. You're just basically thinking, I'm gonna go find something new to jump on in the next minute. Who wants to be with someone like that?
Right, I wouldn't.
Apparently he does, because he kept right on coming back, and she kept right on going back. And we'll see. Next one is coming your way, Nita. This is almost to the grand finale. Almost. We're not quite there. We still got one more to go after this. Oh, Lord. So Ola and Whitney, they in relationship counseling. I don't too much care for this therapist either, but he did make one good line. That I think can have some truth to it. He says, absence makes the heart grow fonder, but too much absence makes the heart wonder. And throughout this whole entire session, Ola's saying all these good things. He's saying these positive things. He wants to spend more time with his wife. They both have demanding jobs, and he just needs to find a way to spend more time with her. All the while, she's just in there seething in her guilt, her frustration. Nita, Take the floor.
that counselor thought he was funnier than what he was. He was up there acting like he was in a comedy show. He kept on making these jokes, and they was just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, he was a goofball. I mean, didn't nobody need to know did nobody need to know about his wife and their sexual predilection? Ain't nobody need to know all that. He was too. The only thing he was good for was that one line about the absence makes the heart grow fonder, but too much absence makes the heart warm. That's all he should have said. They could have done all the rest of the talking.
Yeah. You know what? The one thing that I see about Whitney, I feel like, and then I wasn't on the panel last week because some things, but I remember in that therapy session with Rosie O'Donnell, and most of her friends kind of look at her like she's not being herself, like she's not her authentic self, and I don't think she even knows who that self is. Like, I feel like she puts on a facade and she puts on what society what she thinks that everybody wants. She's trying to make people happy. She's a people pleaser. That's why that guilt is eating her up. And because she just like, oh no, I messed up. She is just really not being her authentic self. And she really needs to work on herself. And if you miss out on your good guy, girl, I don't know, girl.
But Nita, I gotta say this.
He's a good one.
I gotta say this now. Yes, he's a good guy. But if you're not ready to accept and be with a good guy, there's no point in you getting with him. You just gotta have to tell yourself, I wasn't ready. And I don't think
we're gonna have a runaway groom. We're not gonna have a runaway bride. We're gonna have a runaway groom. He's not gonna show up. That's what I think.
Okay, Moochie, jump on in there.
Right now, when they had that conversation, he was like, it's stuff that she's being distanced towards me. And she's already guilty. She's already a perfectionist.
Mm-hmm.
So once he said she's not, I'm not, once he said the comment he made, the guilt really set in with her. Because she was like, oh, we don't argue and this and that, and everything's perfect, la la la. And once he hit the nail on the head with that, that's when all the guilt overwhelmed her.
And you remember her mother said the exact same thing at the dinner table, saying that you don't open up to me. She has this wall up with people that she's supposed to be the closest with. Her mom, her fiance, and we know the wall for that. The fiance is pretty much about the cheatation, but this wall with her mom, I don't know what that is, but it's some kind of character flaw that she needs to work on. To, like I said, she has to find herself. I don't think she really knows herself. She's just like, playing these games and playing what she thinks she's supposed to be and not really being who she really is. And she need to find that out.
Mm-hmm.
It's another point I want to say, but I'm trying to wait for the next thing to happen before I mention it too.
Okay, here we go. Well, Larry, I'm gonna swing it to you. And take a look at the therapist family. Oh, he's got a cute little family. His little wife, his little child right there. Oh, he should have flipped that around so they can see the spectacle that is Black love.
Yeah, I like this. He's got Black Jesus in the background.
Yeah,
He's got the black prayer hands over there on the corner.
Yeah.
I mean, the two of them, they look fantastic together. If I saw them walking down the street, I'd be like, that is a good looking ass couple right there.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And this is the thing for me that really bothers me about the way they're doing Whitney's character is that she's guilt-ridden right now about what she did. And there is one thing to do something bad, and it's something entirely different to destroy your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend or friend or anybody else so that you can assuage your own guilt.
Right.
Like you did something dirty. You need to suck that shit up. You are guilty. You need to suck it up and deal with that guilt and bury it deep down inside and use that as fuel to make sure you never, ever do it again. Because if you go and tell him You feel like, oh, I have to tell him because I feel so guilty. That is the most selfish fucking thing on the planet. It's like, it's not going to change it. And it's only going to blow your relationship up. He's going to feel like he can't ever trust you. He's going to question whether or not he should marry you. And if you get married, there's always going to be that lingering doubt. Is she cheating? What is she doing? Before, when he's up there, like right now, when they're talking about how both of them are busy, they have powerful, high demanding jobs, and he's working all kinds of hours. He said it. I work all kinds of hours in the ER. I work at a trauma center. I can't change when somebody comes in with a heart attack or a bullet wound, so I need her to be a little bit more flexible because I can't. Well, now, if he's supposed to be at his best when he's up there wondering, I haven't heard from Whitney in a few hours. Is she with somebody else? Is she cheating? Is she running around doing this or that? Is he going to be at the best that he can be? And when he has to worry about that, I mean, you can't just blow up somebody's life because you want to get rid of your guilt. You did that shit. That's on you.
I agree to a point. I agree to a point. I would agree with that if there was the opportunity for it to never be found out.
Right.
And,
too many people know.
There's way too many cooks in the kitchen. Hell, they still in the same city with old boy who I'm telling y'all, we ain't seen the last of him either. And the next point I had about that is, didn't we excoriate Emmett because he should have came clean to Tiff about his situation with Don before they got married? I don't know why we're not holding Whitney to the same standard. Because
Larry said it didn't count because they wasn't married. That's what he was saying. When Emmett was cheating like that,
and I said no.
You don't remember he said that?
That's not what I did.
Yes, you did.
That is not what I said. What I said is that he never cheated on his wife. I said Emmett has never cheated on his wife. That's what I said. I said when people kept saying he cheated. I said no
because they wasn't married.
I said people kept saying he cheated. I said he did not cheat on his wife. He's never cheated on his wife. At that time, he had been completely faithful to his wife, and people were saying, well, he cheated on her before. I said they weren't married at that time. So when we're talking about marriage, he's been faithful within his marriage where she has not. She got mad about something he did before they got married and ran off and ruined their marriage. And that's what I was saying. There's a big difference. There's a big difference between what you do in your marriage and outside your marriage.
Okay, so when we say I do, so if she tells him and comes forward before the wedding, they say I do, it's a clean slate. It don't usually work like that.
Yeah, and it seems like you got double standards.
No, it's not a double standard. I'm not saying that it's going to be a clean slate. What I'm saying is that if she tells him now and then they go get married, he's still going to wonder. He's still going to wonder, okay, she lied to me before and cheated. And now that we're married, am I going to have to worry about this? He's still going to be thinking, am I have to worry? Is she going to cheat? Is she still going to continue to lie and be with someone else? Now, she will. Now, once they get married, if she never cheats again, then she's completely faithful within their marriage. But he's still going to be wondering because she cheated and lied. And that's why part of me says that if you don't deal with that. That's part of the reason why I'm saying is that you probably should just keep that to yourself and deal with your own guilt. Because if you plan on going through with the marriage, then you should just swallow that guilt and deal with it so you don't blow up his life. You don't blow up his confidence. You don't blow up his sense of trust.
Well, my issue with that is they get married and then old boy pops back up in the life and she had an opportunity to tell him before they got married. It's still going to be a blow up. It's still going to be a problem. And now you're married and you got to work harder to get rid of her if you decide to get rid of her.
I mean, there are consequences to all that stuff. No doubt. There are consequences to cheating and all that stuff. And that's one of the reasons why you just shouldn't do it.
Right.
But if you get caught up in that situation, I think at some point you have to think about why you're telling the person and what telling that person is going to do. And if you're telling the person because you're assuaging your own guilt, I think it was already selfish enough that you cheated. Now, on top of that, you should not blow up that person's life so that you can feel better again. You already did. You already went off and cheated so you can feel good about yourself. And now you're trying to go ahead. Now you're blowing up their life so you can feel good again. That's just as selfish gets.
She did some bird brain crap anyway. All her friends was telling her not to sleep with that dude.
But see, that's another issue with her. She still has reservations within her that she needs to work out before she get married in the first place.
When we get to the next one, I'm going to show you the other reservation too.
All right, well, we there now, and it's on you, Moochie. So now she shows up at Sunday's mystery apartment, which I definitely had a problem with, because in the same scene, Sunday is telling her she need to come clean, and then when she asks her, "Are you going to tell your boyfriend, your fiance, about what we discussed?" She said, "Nope," and walks away. In the midst, she's walking into a lie because she's walking around the apartment that homeboy don't know nothing about. He's under the assumption that she is completely moved in with him and they're going that way. Moochie, take it away. Okay,
with this, I feel like how you taking advice from her and she's not telling the full truth with her man?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I feel like she, like, you giving all of this sound advice to everybody. And Sandy, to me, she's the most sensible one out of all four of them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how you telling her this and you not telling speaking your full truth?
Her explanation to it was all lies aren't created the same.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like,
what she said.
You might as well say, do as I say, not as I do.
That's what
that's real. That's
not
real.
As I do.
That's real. All right, Nita, what you want to jump in there and say about old Mystery Masande? That's her new nickname for me, Mystery Sunday.
Mystery. You know what? I don't know. I was so conflicted with this particular scene. Her telling her to tell him. I don't think that would serve anybody at this point. It wouldn't serve him. I mean, it would serve her, but I don't even think it would, because
she's still gonna feel messed up.
If you look at the aftermath at how bad you're gonna hurt your future husband or possible ex-fiance, because he could leave her for sure. Now, if you're ready to deal with that consequence, girl, I don't know. I said, girl, when Sandy said that, I said, girl, I think you should talk to your therapist, not your girlfriend. So,
well, she already spoke to the therapist about it, and the therapist told her to, like, you need to leave that back there.
Yeah, the therapist said don't say nothing.
All right, you already talked to the therapist. You talked to Renee, and I feel like Renee gave her the best advice. Leave this here and take that to the grave with you.
Right.
You already talking to a therapist about it. Why you need to keep bringing it up? You already know you messed up.
The only reason, again, is that this is not one of them situations where, if they're going to get married and plan to move on the other side of the continent, go for it. But they still living in the same town where Community Peen live at. And these friends know about Community Peen.
And Community Peen hang out with them too.
And that's right. That's my fear. If it wasn't for that, then hey, I would, you know what? Let it stay. You can never hurt them, all that stuff. But unfortunately, you're still living in the same situation as some of these old heads said, you don't poop where you eat. And you're still in that same situation. You go to Vegas for that. But she didn't do that. And then she still has something innate within her where it just doesn't feel like she's ready to get married. Big Larry, take it away.
Yeah, I think that
and then look who shows up at Sunday's house.
Yeah. I mean, it's just funny to me that she said I need to have a conversation with someone that's in a grown-up relationship, and Sunday's not in some fantastic grown-up relationship. I mean, Sunday's up there, was running around living some secret fantasy with her professor, you know, not telling the university about themselves. They weren't living this honest, grown-up relationship. And then on top of that, She's like you said, she's up there keeping this backup apartment and lying to the dude about it. Sunday's not. What I will say is misery loves company. She does not need to talk to any of her girlfriends about her relationship because you have one that's in the midst of going through a divorce. You have another one that is just Madam Blue Balls that's just running around hopping off everybody at any given moment, mid-stroke, as you guys say. And on top of that, you have a damn dude that loves you, moved his ass back from Africa to come be with you, and you can't decide if you can't just acknowledge that you want to be with him and be with him. Instead, you got to kick him out of bed mid-stroke too because he doesn't care about some random celebrities, you know? And then on top, you know, and then Sunday with all of her craziness, really what she needs to do is go find some freaking 65, 75-year-old woman and go talk to her and tell her, this is what I did. What should I do? And let this woman tell you the dead on truth about what's going to happen in your relationship if you do what you're about to do. How he's all about the way that she loves him because of the way he looks at her, the way that he sees her, how all that's going to change. How even if they get married, he's never going to look at her the same way again, and she's going to feel that, and their relationship is going to change as a consequence, and it may not last, even if he's completely, you know, faithful and goes about his life. He's never going to look at her the same way. She's going to feel that energy. It's going to change the dynamic in the relationship, and as a consequence, the relationship may fail. Now, one way to deal with that is keep your damn mouth shut until you can deal with yourself. And that feeling of guilt goes away, and he's going to keep looking at you the same. You'll be able to go back to looking at him the same.
But Larry, that's the problem. That's the problem they're having. He knows she's hiding something because she's exuding what she's trying to bury. He said that in the therapist session.
All over her face. Her name is not even
learn to deal
Whitney,
with it.
It's guilt.
Well, that's the problem, Larry. She can't deal with it. That's her problem. She cannot deal with it. That's
and here's the other thing too. She's up there feeling like, oh, I've always done this. I'm with my college sweetheart. We've been together since freshman year, and now I'm in my 30s, and I'm doing this with corporate America and this and that. She's basically just saying like, I never really had a chance to go out there and party and live this. It's like she wants to go soil her royal oats or something. She wants to go out and live the whole life or something. And the thing that's crazy is that she has this idea in her head that she's never had the opportunity to do that, except you did have the opportunity to do it, except you met a good guy and you decided that the good guy was worth more than the randos that you would have been out there at the club with or whatever else. So you chose, no, I don't want the rando dudes. I want the good dudes. So that you made a choice. So you had the opportunity. You chose not to do it. You know? Like I had the choice when I was younger to go out there and be a freaking drugged out asshole and hang out with gangbangers. I decided that I would rather have a future. And so I didn't do that. You know? And you make choices. You don't then in your 30s sit around and say, oh, now I want to go try and live this life. Because whatever life you thought you were going to live, that wild side that you thought you were going to experience in your 20s is not going to be the same in your 30s. It's just not. First of all, your body's not equipped for it. You're not going to go party all night and come home at 5 o'clock in the morning, get your ass up, go to your corporate job all day, and think that you're going to be able to exist doing that every day, partying day in and day. Can't do that. You can do that when you're 20-something. Can't do it when you're 30-something.
Like the girl's already been out partying. I don't feel like she's lacking that. She's not missing that. I think that there's an element of her life that she doesn't really know what she really likes and what she really wants in life. And so I don't know. I don't think it's about partying.
I feel like she don't want to get married because she don't want to give up her career. And when they showed that scene with the guy saying he had all her clients and she was closing the door like when she ain't want him in the business because she had her little assistant taking thing and she was like, don't let him do anything. You got this.
And you know what? I like her little assistant like a pet. Her little assistant.
Yeah, she was like, cute. Oh, that's when the guilt really set in. Of
course. So I don't know, but we'll leave it there so we can try to get in a little bit of this Tomorrow War, from Amazon. Please leave us your comments on how you feel about Run the World. Do you feel like it picked back up this episode? I did. or are you looking forward to a season 2? It depends on how it ends.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say that. Depends on the finale.
Depends on how it ends. So
I'll tell you what I would like for them to do. I would like for them to pivot for at least an episode or two, and let us allow us to like these girls, because they have done like with that show Girls with Lena. What's her name? I think it's Lena something. Was it not? Oh, I forgot the chick's name. The Lena Dunham. I think her. When they had that show Girls set in New York, you started off where you kind of liked them a little bit. There was one or two that you actually liked. Lena Dunham's character was completely neurotic. I never liked her from the beginning. But there was two of them I liked on that show. And then as the show went on, you liked them less and less and less. And it got to the point where you didn't like any of the girls, any of the time.
I hope it don't go that way.
But I feel like this show, they have started that way. I feel like they started the show where I didn't like any of the girls except for Sandy. That was it.
That's all I like.
You better hope that Ola's sisters don't get at her.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Nita. I hope they bring in some episodes where they allow us to start liking these girls, because I don't like any of them right now. I'm sort of like, why should I watch this? I don't like them. Like, I'm not rooting. Like, I want to root for the people that I'm seeing. I'm like, I want you. Like, I'm rooting for them. Like, please make a good decision. And I'm not rooting for these people because I'm like, you're just a dumbass. You have a great job, a shit ton of money. You're beautiful. You have fancy clothes. You have men that love you. And you still can't figure out how to get out of your own way.
I do like the men on this show. I do feel like whoever wrote this did write the men with very, very good intentions. And I hang in there to see the professor. I hang in there to see Ella's boyfriend. And I hang in there to see what other turmoil is going to happen between Whitney and Renee. And so for that, you keep me in here. But Larry, we're not going to see a face turn, in these women probably till next season, if they get a next season.
I'll tell you what would make me like Renee if she simply called her husband and said, I'm sorry, I fucked up.
Well,
there's still a chance of that happening if the wedding goes.
If she does that, Larry, they're going to be right back in bed together. Trust me.
She's going to be salty if he shows up with a +1.
Oh, my Lord.
He can't show up with a +1. They already solved that problem. He can't show up with no +1.
Whitney said she couldn't show up with a +1.
He can't
we have
show
no
up with
idea
no
what her husband.
+1
We have no idea what Ola told him he could do.
He can't show up with no +1. He's been excommunicated.
No, because Ola is his boy. Ola might have said, sure, you can bring a +1, no problem.
Well, I know it's his African sisters.
He might have just simply said, you know what, my uncle so-and-so is not going to be able to make it, so go ahead, we have an extra plate. You can bring a +1, no problem.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, stick with us. This is going to be our review of the Tomorrow War. And if you haven't seen it, it is an Amazon special. It stars my boy Chris Pratt, directed by Chris McKay. You also got J.K. Simmons' old butt in there looking all muscled up. And you got Giovanni Strandberg. I haven't seen her in anything else. And for those of you that
who else is in there, right?
Who's that?
Aldous Hodge's little brother.
Yeah, I saw that. He looks just like him.
He's the badass.
Yeah.
Which one is he?
He was the one that the black dude.
He's the one that had cancer.
That's Aldous Hodge's little brother?
Yeah, that's his brother.
Yes, I got a picture.
Yeah, that's his little brother.
I like that dude. I've seen him before. Yeah. I like that dude.
I mean, didn't you look at him and think? Didn't you look at him and think, damn, you look like Aldous Hodge a little bit? And I had to look
at him thinking like I've seen him in other stuff, and I was trying to figure out where I've seen him in other movies, but I didn't realize that was his brother. Yeah, see, I'm all about that nepotism. I'm big ups to him. I hope they have other brothers they bring him in too.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the round table on this great story is that it takes place in the year 2022. Chris Pratt is playing the character of an ex-military person who winds up becoming a science teacher. And they go home, they're having a party, they're watching soccer, and then bam, this chick pops on the screen. She comes through a portal, and I will tell you guys the name of the portal to warn everyone that in the future they're being ran over by white spikes, which are those creatures that you see on the screen. These white spikes, they are so deadly that they're having to recruit people from the past, ladies and gentlemen, to get in there and help them in the future. And now some people are drafted, some aren't. But most people get drafted and they put on these armbands that get them through the time portal thing that they have to use. And Chris Pratt has a daughter, #GirlDad. Now, this is the particular twist, and then I'll let everybody else go in on the different parts of the story. One of the things that I've seen time stories before, we've all seen Back to the Future. We're now going through the MCU doing their timeline stories. How many times have you seen a timeline story where you have a father with his young daughter, gets pulled into the future, and then has to work underneath his daughter, who is the head of the military medical division and is a sergeant badass herself?
She's a colonel.
Did you hear her name off all those degrees? And he said Cal State. She said MIT.
MIT. And he was like, whoa.
He was like, oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah. And so, ladies and gentlemen, you get through all that to finally figure out what is it going to take to destroy these white spikes. Well, his daughter, who is an adult in the future, figures out that if you get to the queen, you can come up with a serum that can get rid of them if you go back in time. Because everybody in her future winds up dying, but they're able to send him back in time to synthesize this cure. Long story short on that, they get back and realize that these creatures, it's not like they descended upon Earth in the future. The creatures are already here on Earth. They froze in the deep freeze, and global warming caused them to be thawed in Russia. Nita the Diva, I'll get with you. Pick up anywhere I left off because I left some things open for you guys to fill in the holes.
I know. I was just asking, is this spoiler free or are we getting into?
Oh no, it's spoilery, baby. It's spoilery. Ain't no need not being. It's spoiler free. Spoil it.
This is raw. This is raw with no protection.
None.
Ooh, baby, I like it raw.
No, Moochie. Give us your sound effect, Moochie. Oh, look. See, she do it in a way that I ain't doing it right. Like, she do it with emotion.
You know, Moochie has that thunderclap.
Yeah, you gotta watch out.
Oh,
I really, really liked it. It was okay, because me critically thinking, for just an average viewer, I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was very entertaining. I liked the twist. I feel like it felt like 3 stories mushed together. It was like they kept going back in time. What I wondered about that serum that they got. Mm-hmm. The serum, I thought that they were going to use it when they actually came. Like when they came and went there, I don't think that they was prepared. They was not ready for that whole.
They didn't
May I intervene real quick, Nita?
They didn't tell them anything about what they was going to see.
That was one of my problems with the story. That was that ending, and the fact that you didn't prepare these people for what they was going to be dealing with. You didn't. I mean, because they said if we told you, you'd be too afraid to come. However, nobody goes to the military without knowing your enemy and how to defeat them. So they just dropped your boy in there. He didn't know where to shoot. He's shooting. These things look like they bulletproof. And your boy Aldous Hodge's brother had to tell him the neck and the stomach is how you take care of them. But at the very end, in this scene right here, I was frustrated by that, because why are you trying to inject them versus throw a bomb all around the whole place and blow their ass up? That's all. I mean, like, because they was trying to blow them up anyway.
Right. Yeah, remember, some of them came out the fire before when remember they was running through the fire. Remember when they blew up that thing with the
the serum with the serum though. Blow them up with the serum.
Right.
The serum is what's going to kill them.
Right. You could have put some of that in there, had something on their little, whatever these little things are, the sacks they're in, inject them, and then just blow the whole thing up. Blow it up.
You didn't know how that was going to go. You don't know how that was going to play out. I just felt like I was like, oh no. Yeah, so it was some things that kind of frustrated me with that whole, the way that played out, because for some reason I kept saying I thought the mission was to be prepared for when they did attack. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was like mass produced, so you could just be able to be ready when they did attack. But then they had to go do all this extra work trying to figure out they're already here, where they at, and all this other stuff. I was like, oh, so
Now,
this.
see,
I mean,
I
that's
did
where it
like
felt
that
like a
part.
whole nother movie.
I did like the part where and I knew that the black kid that was his student in the school, I knew they was going to
the
use his
Volcano
line.
Kid, Martin.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
You automatically knew they was going to use Volcano Kid because he was just too smart and they was just ignoring him. So I knew when they started talking about Russia and the Ice Age, I already knew they was going to go back to him. So
Yeah.
I'm
I like
kind
that
of.
kid.
I like the fact that they had a lot of
the kid.
smart black educated people in this.
I mean, we've had smart black educated people for centuries, but we've never gotten our shine till now. And we're still behind in getting that shine.
Exactly.
Big Larry, jump on in there with some things you like about the movie, things you didn't like, and then we'll punch it to Moochie.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, like that end scene there, I mean, I sort of didn't bother. The inconsistencies and some of the silliness didn't bother me because I wasn't really focused on it because I was thinking, it's aliens and people coming back from the future. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's just sort of, you have to suspend your disbelief anyway. So I did. I was really more focused on the relationship with him and his father. And I just thought that was really great that here he is, you know, like so angry with his dad over the years about his dad. His dad never really being there for him as a kid and sort of leaving and checking out because his dad was messed up over, after he came back from Vietnam. And then to have him come back and, or go to the future and find out that he basically did the same thing, and so to be able to go to his dad and sort of allow his dad to have some absolution, I think was really kind of nice. And it was they didn't really, I mean, they touched on it, they did it, but I felt like that could have been a bigger element in the story. I thought it would have been really nice if they worked on that a little bit more, but that was one of the things that I liked most about that, the later part of the movie, because honestly, before that, I was like, I like the movie a lot, but I was like, it's getting a little long. And when I hit pause on there and said, oh, damn, there's another 30, 40 minutes left, I was like, what are they going to do? And then when he went to his dad, I was like, okay, cool. Now we're going to see this relationship go down. And so, yeah, I was okay with it because of that relationship in the second half.
Okay.
So.
Okay, cool, brother. Cool. Moochella, I want you to jump in here, but let me highlight something for the people real quick. So this is his daughter in the year 2022, where it takes place in the past. And this is his daughter, the colonel, the medical lead scientist in the future. And this is when she's about to die. And here's the queen attacking her, getting ready to push her ass right off the cliff. And he had to watch his daughter die in the future after hearing that story Larry told about how he left the mom and the daughter in the same way J.K. Simmons' character did him, because he couldn't deal with everything that happened when he came back from the war. Moochella, pick up on in there anywhere you want.
With this, I like the fact that him and his father repaired their relationship. I didn't like how when they took him when he got called to get drafted. I didn't like the way they wasn't telling him everything. I had a problem with that. Like, you want me to do all of this, but you not, like, everything's like a need to know, but you gonna tell me I'm gonna die in 7 years? But you're not gonna tell me how.
Y'all, the roughest part,
crazy to me.
The roughest part is when they failed, when they first went 30 years and how they failed. Something happened.
Yeah, did you see some of them hit the building?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Bruh. I'm sitting here like, how the heck you cannot send these people somewhere they don't know what they're dealing with. So
yeah, but
they lied to them.
Machine malfunction where they wasn't gonna land where they were supposed to land. They were supposed to land in the water, and right when everybody was taking off to go into the wormhole, it did some kind of malfunction where it was already set in motion where they couldn't stop it.
But
mess. I was like,
you
dang, they
still
could have addressed it.
you still had these people thinking that they was going to be landing no more than 7 to 5 feet above ground, because that's what they told them. They said wherever you land, it's going to be no higher than 7 to 5 feet. Now, 7 feet is shack. That's still a long way to fall, depending upon how you fall. But you got these people thinking they're going to land like that when they go through. It's called the R force. That's what they're calling their little time jump system and all that. When they land through that, they're thinking, okay, I'm gonna be good. These people was hitting the top of the Empire State Building. Some of them.
They thought they was gonna land in the ocean. They was hitting buildings and shit.
And then when they did land, Larry, this is what you had to look at. These things that shoot white spikes that can go through concrete. So you know they're going through flesh and bone.
Right. They ain't had no armor, no nothing.
Nothing. The only thing you had was a tracker. They gave
they
you
didn't even give them helmets.
Nothing. They gave you an armband that would that would pull you through into the future and track your heart rate to make sure you're alive, and that's it. But I've got to ask you guys about this character right here. What did you guys feel like he added to the story? I'll go with you first, Larry.
I actually liked him. I thought his character was funny. He added a little bit of levity to the situation, because it's sort of like, here's this sort of goofy black dude who's very smart, runs a company, and has absolutely no military experience.
Zero.
And he's probably very much, because he didn't seem like he had any sort of violent tendencies to him. He's probably very much like a pacifist in the past, just not that type of dude. And then, and at one point he even said in there, I was embarrassed. He told him, I hid. And that's what a lot of people would do, and a lot of people have done throughout history. They've hid and they've survived. I mean, we have fight or flight, and some people fight, other people flee. And so, but we knew he was going to come into it. We knew he was going to play his role because he owned a company that just so happened to be a company that could mass produce this serum that they needed. And so he was able to be, we knew he was coming into effect, but we also got to see he was smart, but we also got to see he redeemed himself at the end by not hiding and by fighting. And he came in at the very last minute. And I think it was his dad. I think it was a dude's dad that he ended up saving at just the last minute. One of those white spikes were about to get him.
Yep, so. It sure was. Nita, how did you feel about the black brother?
I thought he was hilarious. He was so funny to me, because it was like when they was in the little when they were in the research facility and they was just about to make contact with them, like they heard them, they saw they was in there, and when he was going down the steps saying shit, that's the exact, that would have been me. It was just so funny to me. It was hilarious. He was like comic relief for me. So yeah, I enjoyed him.
Moochie, what'd you think about him?
He was funny to me. He was really funny. Did y'all catch it that he said that his wife went first?
Yes.
Didn't come back.
Yes. I caught that. And I felt bad for the brother, and I'm sitting here thinking, you done lost your wife. You're really not a combat type of cat. And it was just amazing to me how Dan, who is played by Chris Pratt, just kind of took him under his wing and helped him out, because Dan liked him because he was a man of science. And so, that was something Dan was doing with his daughter, teaching her to be into the sciences. So I think that worked out well for them. But it also was a touching moment when they got up with Aldous Hodges' brother, and Dan was getting ready to have to go and meet his daughter as an adult. And he told him, look after this guy for me. Look after him for me. Ew, look at that thing. What would you do? Look at that. Look at that.
What would I want to do? Shit, just like him.
Right.
Just like him, y'all.
And look at how they move.
It's interesting. They didn't really touch on it too much, but it wasn't random how they put these people together. They made it seem like they were selecting these people sort of at random and then just drafting them. But it clearly wasn't random how they were selected and what teams they were put on, because you have you have Chris Pratt's character, who's also a scientist, but he's also a combat veteran who's done two tours in the. I think he was in like the forces. I think he was in special forces or something. Because
he was.
And so he had a lot of experience. He had a lot of experience in combat. And he was a scientist that was who was able to know what to look for, how to get stuff, how to work with all the sciencey stuff they were doing. And then on the other end, you had the black dude who also ran this company. And if they knew that they needed to mass produce this serum on that side, they knew that black dude was going to be able to get it done.
Yeah,
you know. Yep. And so they did, but it's like if you're watching it and you're listening to the movie, you kind of get that gist. But they never really touched on it. They didn't talk about it a little bit. And I think that would have made sense to actually talk about why some of the people that were there were put together. I think it would have added something to the story a little bit.
You would think they would protect them a little bit more too, since they needed them in that kind of capacity.
Right.
Yeah, that's why Dan said that to Dorian to look out for this guy when they went without him.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's why they did it.
But he could have been one of them people that fell on top of the building and got his skull bust.
Well, that was a malfunction that they couldn't control. Yeah.
Right, that was out of their control. But
yeah, still, they couldn't control that.
Because they was getting them asses beat over there on the other side in the future by them white spikes. So I want to come to you guys and ask you if you had to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 1 being absolute hot garbage, and I'll start with you, Nita. How would you rate this movie?
7. I give it a 7.
Okay.
All right. And it's a weak 7. So I would say maybe 6.5, 7.
A 6.9, huh? Just barely under the tick. Moochie, what would you rate the movie?
I was gonna say an 8. But I mean, I liked it. I mean, it didn't really have parts where it dragged. I like the fact that they had him and his daughter have the little rapport where they was working together, and he realized what happened. He found out how he died.
Yeah, they set that up really nice.
I like Dorian's character because he was a badass. Where he was just like, "Yo, I got 6 months to live, and I'm not gonna live it, I'm not gonna live it back at home where I'm waiting to die."
Right. Yep. Yeah. So, what would you give it, Moochie?
I say an 8.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with an 8.
I can stick with that. Larry, you got last dibs, man. What would you give this movie?
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'd probably give it about a 7.5. It was good.
Wow, 7.5. My goodness. Yeah, wow.
It was good and it was entertaining. It definitely had some flaws to it. I think it was probably a little bit too long. I feel like for the length that it was, they could have given us a little bit more character development. They could have explored some of the relationships, between the people more. And they didn't. So I just they spent a fair amount of time on relationships with like the daughter and the father. I feel like they could have taken some of that time. I feel like we got enough of that. They could have taken that time and put some develop the relationship between like the soldiers that went over there. And to be honest with you, I was a little disappointed that the chick I can't remember her name, the one that played in 24. I was
Betty Gilpin.
His wife.
Was
no. The one that went over as a soldier that was killed when she fell down through the.
Black chick.
No, the white chick.
The white chick.
White.
Yeah,
funny looking face a little bit.
So you had the heavy set dude, and then the white chick that was.
Oh, when they fell in that thing.
Yeah. I was really disappointed when they killed her because I was like, she's a known quantity. I just assumed because she was a known quantity, she was gonna live for a while, and they just sort of like. That was one of those roles that they could have given that role to anybody. They could have given me that role, and I would have been just as it was kind of a waste of her talent to put her in that. They should have had her in something else. That's probably what made it good for some people because I thought that she was gonna.
I thought she was gonna make it to the end.
Right, I'm sitting there saying to myself, "Ain't no way she about to die. She's too big of a talent." And off with her head, she died.
Yeah, so I was kind of hoping that she would, because I wanted to see her. I wanted to see more of her in there. I like her as an actor, and I wanted to see more of her in there, and we didn't. So that was a little disappointing. But yeah, I mean, it was there were definitely some good parts. I thought it was way too long for what it needed to be. I just think that, and honestly, I think that it was only this long because it was going straight to streaming. I think if this movie were going to be on the big screen in theaters, they would have cut this. They would have cut about 30 minutes off this movie.
Probably
so.
Yeah.
But it was good. I'm gonna give it a 7.5. But I can't. I mean, that's probably being generous, and part of that is because there's so many crap movies out there. Some of the movies that they've said they're coming out with straight to streaming on, like on HBO Max and Showtime and Disney. Some of them have been absolute garbage, and you think like, oh, they're putting these movies that would have gone to the theaters on streaming. And I'm like, this movie probably would have tanked in the theaters because it's hot garbage. But this one was actually good. And if this movie was in the theaters, I think it would have done really good because it has all the elements of like a good, just like big screen, IMAX, lots of blowing stuff up and loud noises, all the stuff people love with these big experience movies. And I think it would have been fun like that. So, but I'll give it a 7.5.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm giving it a 7. For me, I enjoyed that it had more meat to the story than what you would typically experience with this type of action, thriller, horror, sci-fi. Well, not even horror, but more sci-fi type of movie than what you would normally get. I did like the dynamics between the father and the son and the father and his daughter. The score was nothing memorable. There was no memorable music about this whole thing. And the acting was fine. Acting was really good. I would even say the acting was pretty good because they did cast these characters together in these little teams when they send them to the future very, very well. The only drawback I have is the same one Larry and everybody else has said. It was too long. You could have revamped that whole extra 40 minutes left when they come back from the future with the serum, and then we find out that they are frozen in Russia and have been here for years before the first ice age. They've just been down there, but they've got to dethaw. I don't feel like it took a whole secret mission to go and handle that business. I felt like that could have been easily eradicated because you had already gotten everybody heartstrings pulled. You'd already gotten everybody fully invested in the movie to that point. But I will agree with this, what Larry was saying. If it would not have been for that, Larry, we would not have gotten more of the interaction between the father and his son. And so that probably was the whole setup for the whole dethawing the aliens, and we got to go attack them in their spot. It gave a chance for the father to basically come help the son come to his rescue. And then at the end, you saw that they started to build that relationship. So for me, ladies and gentlemen, the only reason I'm giving it a 7, and I can't go any higher, is just because it was just a little too long. But overall, you will be thoroughly entertained. Highly recommend that you see it. And when you do see it, be sure to come back here and leave us a comment because I will make this an independent review with just us. So
let me ask you, would you have liked to have seen more of them together when they were training?
No, what I would have, I don't want to say, okay, let me couch this correctly. I would have liked to have seen them better prepare for the aliens. And I don't want to say that I need to see them going through the drills of training, but I did want to see, okay, what are their weaknesses? How can we attack the enemy? I needed you to expand a little bit more on how we're going to win this mission other than we're going to suck you through the portal. You're going to drop about 5 to 7 feet from your destination, and we can't tell you what you're fighting because you're not going to want to go.
Basically, they just dropped them in the water and said sink or swim.
That was terrible.
That's exactly
that
what they
so
did. And to me, the guy, Dorian should have told them about how to kill them when they was looking to see were they around yet. That's when he should have been like, look, this is how you got to kill them. He was like, no, you just got to run from them.
Yeah, he could have took advantage of that.
I didn't understand that part.
See, I was thinking if they would have given us like a 10-minute training scene where they show them, you know, maybe fighting something, you know, and teaching people how to use weapons, because there's a lot of these people who had absolutely no military experience whatsoever, and they're basically saying you're going to do a 7-day tour, all you have to do is basically survive. And so I think if they would have given them a little bit of training, and within this training, you could have had it funny, a little bit of levity, where you have people like the black dude who knows nothing about guns, and he's up there with his clip falling out and all the other stuff. And they could have then had a session where they're all in their, you know, maybe in their dorms or whatever, talking about what they do, and you could have gotten a little bit of backstory about, oh, I run this company, and somebody else could have been like, I'm a school teacher, or somebody else doing whatever. You would have gotten to know the soldiers a little bit better, because for the most part, like when that one chick got killed, I like her as an actress, so I wanted to see her more. But when other people got killed, I didn't care because I didn't know them. You know, you have to let people know you, but you have to get them to know the character so they care when they die. You know, and they could have done that in maybe like 10 minutes, and that would have made it that would have made the movie a little less long for me.
Okay, but overall, we still highly recommend this movie. Amazon Prime, go check it out. Don't forget to like this video, comment, subscribe to everybody's channel. They all have a channel up here. Links is in the video description. And until that next Sex is Hell video, which will be tomorrow when we drop Loki, we'll see you.
Peace.
Anything else y'all plan